Good morning. So today we will discuss about the fluid kinematics, basically the differential analysis of the fluid flow. So after completing this, we will discuss about the integral analysis of the fluid flow. So related to this, already we have discussed the Lagrangian approach and Eulerian approach, and we see that in fluid mechanics course, Eulerian approach is preferred compared to the Lagrangian approach. Also, we have found out the acceleration in a fluid flow. So unlike the solid objects, a fluid will have acceleration even if it's flowing with a uniform velocity. It consists of two parts. One is local acceleration, depends on the time, and the other part of the acceleration is the convective acceleration, which depends on the spatial coordinates. Also, we have discussed about the different visualization techniques when the fluid flow takes place: streamlines, path lines, streak lines, and their importance. Also, we defined two functions: the stream function and velocity potential function. We have defined the stream function psi as u equal to del psi by del y, and v equal to minus del psi by del x. Similarly, we have defined the velocity potential function phi as u equal to del phi by del x, b equal to del phi by del y, and w equal to del phi by del g. But till now, we don't know why we have defined the stream function and velocity potential function in such a way. Now, in this course, we will see why we have defined in that way. There is physics behind this. We will talk in detail. Now, a flow must be possible. Then only all the principles of the fluid mechanics can be applied to the fluid flow. So when a flow is possible, suppose for an example, it's a pipe, circular pipe, the fluid is entering at the inlet and the fluid is leaving at the outlet. So then the flow will be possible. But if the flow is entering only and there is no exit points, then whether the flow is possible? No. So for a flow to be possible, it must satisfy the continuity equation. A fluid being a material body must obey the law of conservation of mass. Now we will do the differential analysis to find the expression for the conservation of mass, which is also known as the continuity equation. So the continuity equation tells that for a differential control volume, the net mass leaving the control volume plus the rate of accumulation of mass within the control volume must be 0. So in the class I have already given the example of a bank account, how can you derive different the conservation equations by using that simple technique. So in case of mass, the mass is entering the control volume, mass is leaving the control volume, as well as there is accumulation of the mass within the control volume. So mass entering the control volume plus accumulation will be equal to the mass leaving the control volume. Mass flow rate basically. So if you know the velocity, if you know the cross sectional area, if you know the density, then you can easily find out the mass flow rate. But if the flow is incompressible, then rate of accumulation will be 0. So this rate of accumulation comes into picture only if the flow is a compressible flow. So let's try to derive the continuity equation using the differential approach. That means the equation will be in terms of a differential equation. To consider a small fluid element of dimensions delta x, delta y, and delta z. These dimensions are very small. So fluid is entering along x-axis on the left face, and the fluid is leaving the x-axis on the right face. Similarly, fluid is entering y-axis on the bottom face, and fluid is leaving along the y-axis on the top surface. Similarly, fluid is entering the control volume, the fluid element, along the z direction on the back surface, and fluid is leaving the control volume along the z direction on the front surface. So basically there are 6 phases. So along x direction we will try to derive how much mass flow rate entering and how much mass flow rate leaving. So similar expressions will be taken place along y-axis and along z-axis. So on the left face, the velocity is u, density is rho, and what is the cross-sectional area? It is delta y into delta z. So on the right face, you have to find out the velocity. You can simply apply the Taylor series expansion and you neglect the higher order terms. So you will get this is the velocity at the right face. Similarly, density also will change if it's a compressible flow, but let's assume that it's a incompressible flow, so this term will be 0. So if you know the velocity on both the faces, you can find out the mass flow rate easily. So for incompressible flow along x direction, mass flow rate entering is rho u delta y delta z, and mass flow rate leaving equal to rho u del u by del x into delta x del y del z. So what is the net mass flow rate leaving the x direction? So leaving mass flow rate leaving minus mass flow rate entering. So you will get this expression, and this delta x delta y delta z is nothing but the volume of the fluid element. Similarly, along y direction, the net mass flow rate leaving will be equal to rho del v by del y into delta v. Similarly, along z direction, net mass flow rate leaving the fluid element equal to rho del w by del z into delta v. U, v and w are the components of the velocity along x direction, y direction and z direction respectively. So what is the total mass flow rate leaving the control volume? The summation of all the 3 terms. Rate of accumulation will be del by del t rho into delta v. Rho into delta v is the mass. So as it's an incompressible flow, rho will be 0. So only for compressible flow you will get this term. So for incompressible flow, you replace all the quantities, then you will get this expression for the continuity equation. So del by del x plus del v by del y plus del w by del z equal to 0. So this is valid for steady flow as well as unsteady flow. Similarly, viscosity plays no role in the derivation of the continuity equation, so it's applicable for viscous flow as well as in viscid flow.